Hello everyone, I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. For today's video, I actually took inspiration from a question that I got on Minks Monday a couple of weeks ago, and that has to do with handbag rules or guidelines that I set for myself when it comes to adding new bags to my collection. So I thought that I would elaborate on that further. I hope that you guys enjoy this video. If you do, make sure and give it a thumbs up, and without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Number one, if I don't have the money for it, I won't get it. Now I know that this isn't for everybody, but this is something that I have stuck to religiously, and I have to ensure that whatever bag I'm looking to add to my collection, I have to have that full amount first. There have been times that I have charged a handbag to a credit card, but like I said previously, I have to have the full amount first, so that way I can pay the charge in full and not get hit with interest, later on or anything like that. So I have to have the full amount. Because a lot of these companies, when you do charge it to a credit card or a department store card or what have you, a lot of these companies, it's almost like they're paying you to shop. You're able to accrue miles or gift cards or points towards something else, so the way that I see it, if you have the full funds for it, if you're able to make that full payment, why not take advantage of getting a $500 gift card or a $150 gift card towards something else? So like I said previously, I know that this isn't going to be for everybody, but if I have to save up for it and continue to save up for it for weeks or months at a time, so be it, because I have to ensure that I have the full amount. And I have not regretted this decision by any means whatsoever. Sometimes some bags have been within my, within my reach, and I thought, oh, well, maybe if I end up charging this amount, I will be okay. But I promised myself that when it came to luxury goods, this is something that I was going to stick by, and I definitely have. So it's a matter of personal preference, but regardless of whether or not the bag is beautiful, I have to ensure that I have the full amount of anything that I'm looking to add to my collection. Number two, I have to ask myself, why do I want it? Is it really going to work out for my lifestyle? Because sometimes when it comes to handbags, I am so blinded by their beauty that it often eclipses some of the details that I know in my heart of hearts don't end up working out for me. Some of the details that end up driving me nuts, or some of the silhouettes that haven't worked out for me in the past. So I have to be honest. I have to be honest, and I have to figure out and decipher why it is that I want to go for it. Am I going for it just because it's trendy? Am I going for it because so-and-so has it? Is it just a whim? Is it going to sit on my shelf unused for X amount of time or what have you? And I know some of you guys might be thinking that this is total common sense. Well, that hasn't been the case for me in the past, because in the past, I have been able to justify just about anything. I kid you not. I'd be able to look at everything both sides, and oftentimes I just go like, oh, go for the bag, go for the bag. And like I said, that didn't end up working out. So I will sit there in front of the bag. I will sit there in front of the counter or what have you, and I will ask myself, why? Why do I want this bag? If it just seems like BS that I come up with, then I end up walking away from it. But yeah, I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest with myself and ask the why. Number three, research, research, research. I will research a handbag to death. I will be the creeper that's on YouTube. I will be the creeper that asks questions on Instagram about people that have the bag that I am interested in. I want to know as much as I possibly can. I want to find out the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I also take a look at the resale value, because that to me is important. I know that's not for everybody, but that's something that that I often look for. And very rarely has a non-research handbag ended up working out for me. 9 times out of 10, I have it for a hot second, I really like it, and then what ends up happening, it ends up sitting on my shelf unused for a couple of months, if not a couple of years. And as many of you know, I don't have the possibility to do that. I can't buy a new handbag, and if it doesn't work out, I'm not like, oh, no big deal, I can just get another one. I can't do that, So for me, research is imperative. And that's not to say that even if you do research a handbag, that automatically means that it's going to work out for your lifestyle. I've said it before, that oftentimes you do have to actually experience the bag. You have to own the bag to truly know if it's going to work out for your lifestyle or not, but research, oh yeah, I will research a bag to death, and watch as many videos as I possibly can. And that way I'm a little bit more informed with what it is that I add to my collection. But yeah, to me, it is imperative when it comes to anything, with any new handbag that I'm looking to buy. Number 4, following my instinct. Now this is something that I put into place a couple of years ago, and for the most part I've been pretty successful. There have been times that I've slipped through the cracks, but I do try to listen to my gut instinct as much as I possibly can. And it really became noticeable a couple of years ago. I ended up buying a handbag. I was super, super excited at the boutique, but then I noticed that the moment I got home that excitement started to wear off, and I left the bag in the shopping bag in the original packaging for like 2.5 weeks. That to me is my gut instinct telling me that the bag is not for me. And I'm not talking about holding off on using a bag and leaving it in the packaging because of a special occasion and that's why you're doing it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just a random day going into the boutique, picking out a handbag, and then noticing that when you get home, you're not as excited about it. It's almost like it's a preview of how the handbag is going to be within your collection, you know? So I don't know, but I kind of end up chalking it up to the whole excitement thing. And the reason I chalk it up to that is because how many times have you purchased a handbag and you are so ridiculously excited about using it that you purchase it, you get into your car, you haven't even left the parking lot and you're already switching into your new bag. How many times has that happened? You know, I've experienced that as well, and I love that feeling. But when I've noticed that I don't feel as excited and that excitement ends up wearing off and I'm just kind of like, nah, I don't really feel it anymore. That is my gut instinct. That is telling me, okay, it's not for you, it's not for you. You know, it's almost like you're blinded again by the whole beauty of the bag, or just I feel like sometimes the lights in the boutique make a bag look a certain way. You're just like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, it's so shiny, it's so sparkly. And then once you get home, those shiny lights, that shiny bag has now become dull. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's something that I struggled with. So for me, I noticed that if I am crazy excited about the bag, I will start using it immediately. And if it's something that I was excited about in the boutique and then I get home and it's just kind of sitting there, I will end up returning it. As much as it pains me and as beautiful as it is, I just know in my heart of hearts that the bag is not for me and I return it. And like I said, I've been pretty successful. I haven't had any regrets with the bags that I have returned because they are beautiful, but again, I got to be honest with myself. Number 5, I don't want to have to add or subtract something to or on the bag in order for it to work out for me. Now, I haven't always been successful with this, and I have failed more times than I care to admit. There are some perfect bags out there that end up checking off all the marks, and other times you need to fine-tune them. And I always thought that if I have to do this, if I have to do that, if I have to spend more money, if I have to jump through hoops in order for a bag to work out for me, then maybe it really doesn't end up suiting my lifestyle. However, you guys have seen me fail at this firsthand with my Louis Vuitton Clooney BB. I absolutely love the bag, but I also ended up taking off the original strap that it comes with. I took off the key belt and I spent more money for the Pochette Métis strap in order for that bag to work out for me. You know, and some people might end up thinking that I'm trying to justify it, and that's totally fine. To each their own, but I just absolutely fell in love with the silhouette. I fell in love with it last year. I added it to the wish list and I'm super happy that I was able to add it to my collection because I really like everything about it. Unfortunately, those 2 details didn't end up making me too happy, but other than that, I have really ended up enjoying that handbag. So sometimes you do succeed and other times you end up failing miserably. Number 6, keeping your eyes on the prize. Now this is easier said than done. Trust me, the distractions do happen and the temptation is all too real, what with YouTube and Instagram, etc. But I do try to put my blinders on because I feel that those distractions end up pushing the item that you want the most further and further away, especially if it's something that's at the top of your wish list, or even if it's in the middle or at the very end, it still ends up pushing the item that you want the most further and further away. And I feel that if I end up staying dedicated to my goal, once I finally reach that goal, it's extremely satisfying. And there's a part of me that ends up enjoying the item that much more because I was able to successfully stick to the plan, stick to the goal, and keep my eyes on the prize. Now, that doesn't always end up working out. It doesn't always end up working out because sometimes you do end up seeing an item that's very limited, or an item that you've had your eye on previously comes into your field of vision and then you end up going for it, you know. But for the most part, I do try to put those blinders on, stay dedicated, but the distractions, like I said, sometimes they happen. You open up Instagram and everyone and their mother has this cosmetic case and you're just like, do I need it? Do I need it? You ask all those questions and ultimately you're just like, well, I'll go for it. And then I'll still continue to save up for the jumbo. I'll still continue to save up for the boy bag or whatever the bag is, you know, but staying dedicated, staying focused truly helps. And I know, like I said, it's easier said than done, but it is so worth it in the end. Now with number 7, it's not necessarily a rule or guideline, it's more of personal preference, and I've gotten a lot of questions about this throughout the years, and I wanted to give you guys a little bit more info, especially if you've heard me talk about this in the past, but I choose not to spend over $2,000 on a Louis Vuitton canvas handbag, whether it's mostly canvas or full canvas. Now I know that the fashion house offers other materials besides canvas, and I do appreciate them. I think that they're beautiful. I have had some of them in the past. They didn't always end up working out for me, but when push comes to shove, I end up going for canvas, because when I am in the market for a Louis Vuitton bag, that's the material that I like. I feel that they do it better than anybody in the business, you know, so that's the one that I often end up kind of leaning towards or just kind of gravitating towards. And the reason why I stick to this, for the most part, because I have failed, and I'll talk about that in just a second, but with that whole $2,000, if I end up going for a different fashion house with that amount of money, I can usually end up going for an all leather handbag. Once again, I'm not trying to take away from the quality that they have, but I do like to venture into other fashion houses, and I'm able to go for an all leather handbag. Sometimes I have to spend a little bit more, not necessarily an arm and a leg, in order for me to get, you know, a leather handbag. Of course, I'm not talking about Chanel, because we all know their price points, right? But still, I end up kind of sticking to that. However, like I said before, I did fail because, once again, good old Clooney. Good old Clooney. Now, the Clooney BB retails for $19.90 here in the States. With tax, it puts it well over $2,000. And some people might think that I'm trying to justify it, and I can totally see their point if they think that. But I ended up going for it for 2 different reasons. The first one being that I was madly in love with the bag. I added it to my wish list. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I have not regretted, I have not regretted adding it either. And most importantly, I did end up getting store credit from my Pochette Métis for the bag. So I seized the opportunity, and I'm very happy that I did, because a lot of you have heard me talk about that bag quite often, especially within the last couple of weeks. But I do love a lot of their leather bags, and I used to have 2 Vernis Almas at one point in time. I never really used them, but like I said, when push comes to shove, I almost always end up going for canvas. And this is not to include travel pieces or anything like that. Right now, I am strictly talking about adding a canvas handbag, you know? So they do have some beautiful, beautiful canvas pieces, and I think that they're awesome, but I still draw the line at that $2,000 mark, unless the whole store credit thing comes into play, because then I feel I end up, I feel like I end up kind of living a little bit more dangerously. I don't know. All right, you guys, so that does it for my handbag rules and guidelines. And as you can tell from everything that I discussed, sometimes I do end up sticking to them, and other times I end up breaking them, but some rules are meant to be broken. I am curious, do you have any rules or guidelines that you often try to stick to? And if you do, are you successful? Let me know in the comment section down below. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red button down below and hitting that bell so you're notified when I upload videos, which is anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week. And I'll see you guys later. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not, the choice is yours. Have a great day.